welcome to this album with me, William Hann, on Islington Radio. It's the podcast / radio show where each episode a guest and I will deep dive an album of their choice. It could be any artist, it could be any genre, it could be any bloody year. And we are going to discuss the songs, we're going to discuss the shows, we're going to discuss the artwork. But what I really want to know is where my guest first heard the album of choice and the emotional attachment that they have to the record. And if all goes to plan, we're also going to have a bit of a laugh while doing it. Well, today, I'm joined by a man who is doing more for independent radio than the Strokes did for the sale of Converse in the early noughties. He's Gary Oldman's arch nemesis from Islington Radio. It's Ned Newman.
How we doing?
Oldman, Newman.
I like it.
Do you like that?
I've not heard that one before.
Have you not?
I've had all the Newman jokes,
but
not an Oldman joke. You know, that's imaginative.
I've done it.
Hey, thank you for having me, man.
An honour, a pleasure, a privilege. I think I need to thank you for having me. So shall we set the scene about where we are, and also keep the mic nice and close to your mouth, please,
Sure
brother.
Sure thing. So we are currently sat in the courtyard of the newly opened Islington Radio Cafe. Wow. As of when this episode comes out, it will have been open for about 2 days. So, exciting times. Exciting times indeed. It
feels like we could be in the south of France or Capri or the Amalfi Coast. This is a good day now.
We've had the weather for it, haven't we? We have had the weather for it today.
So describe a bit more detail about this place and what we're doing here and what this is and what you do. And
yeah, it's a great question.
That's
a very good question.
Good at this, aren't
I? I run Islington Radio and we've got a lot of exciting things coming up. You know, we've got this cafe opening. We're doing a lot of events and stuff. We're bringing on some new shows onto our station, which
shows
we're
like
really
this
excited
very
for.
one.
It's exciting times all around. You know, like I think the music industry is sort of it's getting to a quite healthy place for independent artists, I think, and there's been a lot of years of a lot of uncertainty, but I think we're really sort of starting to see a shift now, and I'm glad that I've managed to get myself here at the right time, I think.
Tell me more about that. You say the independent artists, for a good time for independent artists. In what way? What do you mean by that?
When I say independent artist, I think I should probably be more specific and say independent artists of sort of the genres that we're going to be talking about today, probably. Because I feel like that sort of music is sort of becoming a little bit more into the mainstream again. I think we're starting to see guitar bands come through. We're starting to see rock music, indie music. And I'm really excited by that because that's what I love. That's my type of music. So, I do think genuinely it's a really exciting time. I think it could still be a couple of years until that sort of maybe, I mean, is it hopeful to say it could be as big as it used to be back in the 90s?
It would be nice, wouldn't it, Ned?
It would be nice. It would be nice. We're going to have to wait and see, I think. But yeah, who knows?
I can't wait to find out. We've got the cafe here.
We do.
We've got Islington Radio over there. We've also got a prestigious music venue right here as well, right?
Yeah, the dancehall venue, newly opened again. 300 cap venue. It's good fun.
As part of what pub is it?
It's attached to the Archway Tavern pub, so it's an Archway. You can't miss it if you come out of the Archway station. It's right there. It's
a pub that I've got a massive emotional attachment to because it occurred to me earlier that I've not been to the Archway Tavern for 20 years, and I genuinely think I'll have to fact check this later. So I'd like let's put it. I think it's 20 years to the day that I was at Archway Tavern,
that is mental,
where my band played their first ever gig. I can't believe I'm back here. I don't spend any time in Archway, I really don't. But I can't believe this is so mad, isn't it?
Crazy. And do you know what? And I would have been 5 months old.
Probably worth mentioning. Ned is younger than me. Ned is younger than me.
Only by a little bit.
Only by a little bit. Only by a couple of decades. But you look very old and I look very young. So between us,
I think that's fair to say. Yeah.
No, you wear it well. We're doing all right here, Ned. So obviously you're now working in independent music and live music venues. When did you have your sort of musical coming of age, Ned?
That's a great question. I think it sort of happened. It sort of happened without me knowing when I was very young. I think I was brought up on a lot of great rock music, a lot of great indie music. The album that we're going to be talking about today, I was brought up on loads. So from a very young age, I think always in my head I've had this sort of music. It was subliminally always there. But then for a lot of years during my youth, I didn't really listen to music that much. I wasn't really into music at all.
When did that change?
That changed. It sort of changed when I started learning how to play drums myself, which was at the start of lockdown in 2020. I got given a drum kit completely by chance. Someone was getting rid of it, a family friend. And I
All needed
decided
hobbies during lockdown. Didn't
exactly.
we,
I
nerds?
decided
Yeah.
what better time is there to teach yourself how to play an instrument, and a very loud one at that. So my neighbours absolutely loved me during that
So
time.
was it a proper drum kit or electric one?
It was a proper drum.
Oh right, shit! I
Yeah,
imagined
yeah.
electric. Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
So in a small little village,
People can't
outside
leave the house,
Cambridge.
and you're there banging the NHS every day, not just Thursdays.
Exactly. I'll show my
Monster.
support. But yeah, so I sort of, while teaching myself how to play drums, I was also sort of teaching myself about indie music and about rock music, and playing along to those songs.
So what songs were they? What sort of drummers were you
It's a good
trying
question.
to
I mean, the
copy?
bands I was loving, I think, it's the classic example of I found the Arctic Monkeys. I loved them, as everyone my age sort of did at one point, I think. And yeah, I was really into that. I was really into bands like Foals, Capturing the Bottlemen were a band that I'd seen when I was a lot younger that I remembered seeing, and I have a photo with Van McCann from Capturing the Bottlemen, which was a nice reminder, you know, when I sort of get into music again and my parents showed me that picture again, I was like, oh, okay, this is a cool band. I like this. A lot of Wolf Alice I really liked. I was playing a lot of that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of Kasabian, I think, as well. Kings of Leon, sort of the classic artists.
I'm hearing the
good
classics.
vibes. You're hearing the classics.
I'm hearing the
'cause
classics.
That's what I discovered first, you know. That's what everyone discovers first, I think. Like,
So it's interesting though, Ned. Obviously, you're a young guy, and these bands are very much bands from my era.
they are,
Is
yeah.
it quite normal for like people of your generation to be listening to that generation of bands from 20 years ago?
Well, I think at the time when I first started listening to that, the friends I had around me, some of them were listening to that sort of thing, but it wasn't popular in school. It wasn't the thing that everyone was listening to.
What were they listening to? What do kids listen to, Ned?
That's a good question. Well, back then, this is how many years ago is that now? 20 years ago, 6 years ago, 2020. Right. It was a lot of rap, a lot of pop, a lot of quite shit dance music that I was constantly hearing everywhere I went. So yeah, I think this was a nice change. You know, I was meeting up with my friends and someone would put on Fluorescent Adolescent. I remember hearing that for the first time. I was in a swimming pool at my friend's house. And he was the only friend of a swimming pool. I want to point out, I wasn't growing up like Vampire Weekend.
You could be a Vampire Weekend, brother. Yeah.
But I remember hearing this song and being like, "This is amazing.
This is the life.
This is being young. This
I'm
is
at
what
my
it
only
feels like,
friend's
you know?
house that has a swimming pool.
Yeah,
listening
exactly.
to the best band ever.
Exactly. So I think that yeah, it was the summer of probably 2021 would be my guess, maybe 2021, 22, where I was just listening to anything I could find that sounded like that, basically, and anything sort of in that sort of style. But yeah, no, that's sort of where it started, and since then, that's kind of all I've listened to.
Amazing. And that's becoming your career, right? So now you're working here on Islington Radio. What are you doing on Islington Radio?
So I am overseeing the whole operation as it is. I'm working with the owners very closely to basically get better shows across. Like, we've got some amazing shows already. We've got some really talented presenters, and William. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to, like, we're sort of, we want to be much more visual with the podcast, like we're doing now. We want to be a lot more sort of current. We're doing a lot more live events. We're bringing a lot more artists into our studio, Crouch End Studios, to record. So yeah, it's just exciting times all around. Like, I've been listening to so many new bands, so many up and coming bands, from playing with them with my band and sort of championing them on the radio and stuff, that I've now got this amazing opportunity to put them on stage, to get them into the studio, to sort of work with these artists in amazing ways that I'd never be able to do. So it's great for me because I'm feeling enriched by working with these people that I've idolized for so many years, making music myself, and they get to play to their fans and stuff.
Amazing. You're a catalyst for culture.
I am indeed.
I think that's a beautiful thing, Ned. So tell me more about Islington Radio. Like, I know it's been around for years, but like, what's the goal with the station?
The goal with the station is for it to be like the biggest independent radio station, the biggest internet radio station in the country. We're a little bit far away from that right now, but we're definitely on the right steps. I mean, we've been growing quite a lot at quite a rapid pace recently, I've noticed, and it's just really, really exciting times. You know, like, I think people are starting to talk, people are starting to notice what we're doing, which is great. And we're really starting to sort of just push things to the next level. You know, like, we've got this infrastructure, we've got the cafe, we've got the venue, we've got the studios. Like, now it's just time to sort of put it all to good use, you know, to actually get the most out of it and really build sort of a healthy music scene in North London, because there isn't much at the minute in North London. Like, you've got Camden, obviously, but that's sort of it. Like, I mean, going further out north and going a little bit more further northeast, like we're sort of heading this way, there's not a lot going on. There's no gigs in a lot of places for these sort of artists. So I think it's a great opportunity to be able to put them on and to sort of build a bit of a scene again, you know?
Yeah. Because the sort of world that I came up in, Ned, it was like there were bands playing all over London every night. I
don't get me wrong, there still is, but there's a lot of artists that should be more accessible, you know, like these sort of artists that are breaking through and they're sort of starting to get that big, like the big attention from the record labels and stuff. They should be able to be playing all the time as well, like they used to be. Like you used to be able to see those bands all the time. That sort of level.
This is my point. Like 4 or 5 nights a week, you could get a gig if you were a band. You could play 4 or 5 nights a week in London alone. I mean, I live in Cricklewood, and on the Kilburn High Road, there are 4 shells of what used to be music venues that are literally all within. You can see them all like that. You've got the Good Ship in Kilburn, which has been closed for about fucking 10 years.
I went to uni in Kilburn, so I know the area a little bit. Yeah. I mean, I say I go to uni there. It's 2 days a week, and I've got 5 months off now for summer. So I'm a very much a part-timer in Kilburn. But yeah, every now and then I'm there.
Well, they used to do gigs there.
Yeah.
They used to do gigs at your uni. They used to do. There's an amazing music venue called the Good Ship, which has been just an empty shell for about a decade now. There was a venue called the Mean Fiddler. Not the Mean Fiddler, it's called The Fiddler, sorry. That closed about 2 years ago. And there was a place called Powers, which is still operating as a pub. But you could see them all in a straight line. And now 3 out of 4 of those are just ghost venues now where nothing is happening. Yeah. And it's great to see the Archway Tavern is still fighting the good fight. And you guys have, you know, doing something to add to the culture.
Yeah, of course. That's what we're trying to do, you know, like as someone that's been in a band myself and sort of had these struggles of trying to get gigs and playing gigs and it just means so much. Like people love going to gigs. Like I feel like I moved to London in September from Cambridge, and I don't necessarily like clubbing like a lot of people my age might do, or I don't like sort of that sort of
genre of
partying. Yeah. But there's not enough gigs. Like I'd be going to gigs every night if there was enough around. Like there is gigs happening all the time over London. Obviously, like it's amazing, and I think the music scene in the UK on the whole is very healthy, and I think there's a lot of artists that are doing really, really well and really flying that flag at the minute. But yeah, I think it's just accessibility more than anything. I think like North London just needs more, you know.
Amazing. Tell me more about your early experiences of going to gigs and nightclubs, please.
That's a good question. So when I was very young, before I could even have a say in whether what I was doing, my parents would take me to gigs, they'd take me to festivals. Like legends. I remember, they are legends. I remember going to Latitude Festival at 2010 when I was 4 years old, and Vampire Weekend were headlining.
Really?
Which is,
so one of your first memories?
One of my first musical memories is Vampire Weekend.
That is class.
And my dad helped out with this festival called Lodestar Festival, which is a little festival outside Cambridge that you've definitely not heard of, which had Capturing the Bottlemen headlining one year. We had there was a band called what are they called? Cats and Jammer, I think they were called, which is a very interesting Scandinavian band who were playing. But yeah, they had a lot of slightly strange but quite big artists play. And that sort of was a lot of my childhood. Again, like the Hoosiers headlined one year, I seem to remember, and I was meeting these sort of artists, and he was helping with the production on that. So yeah, I've sort of always been brought up with music. That's always been something that I've loved. They used to play me loads of Gorillaz, loads of Vampire Weekend, loads of Kaiser Chiefs, like this sort of stuff when I was growing up, which has definitely shaped what I listen to now and sort of what I feel more of a connection to, I think.
So it can go the other way, right? You really can rebel against your parents' music taste. But if your parents have got good music taste,
exactly.
Well, guess what, motherfucker?
For a long time, I think I rebelled against it. For a long time, I didn't want to hear anything. As soon as my parents would try and tell me about an artist, I'd be like, nah, if you're telling me about it, I'm not hearing this. I don't want anything to do with that. But nah, I have got to give them their credit a little bit.
Shout out to parents, man.
Shout out to Nick and Zoe, yeah.
If you're listening, which I assume they are.
They will be, yeah.
All right, Ned, that's enough of it. We've already sort of mentioned it, but why don't you tell the listeners which album we are going to be discussing today, please?
We are going to be discussing Vampire Weekend by Vampire Weekend.
Come on, what an album. What an album. In 2008, Leather Jacket Indie had reached its inevitable conclusion and was firmly in a graveyard, placed there by preppy art school posh kids who did not give a fuck about how much code you did or did not have. And though I didn't quite get the memo until about a decade later, skinny jeans were out, polo shirts were in. Vampire Weekend's debut changed everything about what noughties indie could sound like, look like, and what social class you could come from. But none of that Ivy League nonsense really matters when the songs are as insanely good as A-Punk, Oxford Comma, Campus, and Cape Cod Kwassa Kwassa. Not easy for me to say. Is my bed made? Is my sweater on? Do I want to fuck like I know you do? It's no to all three, Ezra. I want a podcast.
What an intro.
What an intro.
I mean,
what
the
an
album deserves an intro like that.
Did I do it justice?
You did, yeah.
I did it justice.
You did do it justice,
Amazing.
yeah. What an album.
What an album. So, do you remember life before Vampire Weekend? I guess it's the question.
Well, I don't know, because life before Vampire Weekend was only 2 years of my life, which obviously no one can remember.
No one remembers.
For as long as I can remember, this album has been somewhere stored in my subconscious. Yeah.
Would you like to hear how I first heard Vampire
Go
Weekend?
on, let's hear it.
Have you heard of MySpace?
I have heard of MySpace. Yeah.
Yes. Your parents would know MySpace.
They would, yeah.
It was amazing. So it was the first time where I sort of knew that something was changing. We had 2 years of like the Holloways, the Pigeon Detectives, Baby Shambles, Arctic Monkeys. We knew exactly what indie sounded like and looked like. Then suddenly, it sounds silly that I hate this phrase, but they changed everything.
Yeah.
And they had the first 4 songs on the album as their 4 songs on MySpace. And I distinctly remember being at my dear friend Georgie's house, listening to that and going, well, they're an indie band, but they're not an indie band, are they? And it was the first time I had to question, like, well, that's not normally what I like, but yet I love this.
Yeah.
It's well good. And suddenly I had to sort of start thinking bigger picture and reevaluate what I thought indie music was and is. And haven't looked back.
No, I think it's a very interesting album, and they're a very interesting band. Because like you said, they were just different to everything that was around. Like, even though the music didn't sound maybe a million miles away from some of the other artists that were around, I mean, obviously they had their influence on that as well, but I think like the world influences aside from their music, like the African influences aside, I think there were sort of these guys that had come through, and they were very well educated. They were very sort of had a very privileged upbringing, and they were sort of like, yeah, we've got this. We're not going to hide it, but like, what does that mean? Does that give us an identity? Like this album, sort of it to me, it just seems like they're quite socially awkward. Like, there's a lot of socially awkward relationships that are mentioned in the album and stuff, and a lot of things I'll probably relate to quite a lot in that sense. But in terms of like the album and what I think they were trying to say was, yeah, we're educated, but like, what does that mean for us in music? What does that mean for like what we're making? Like, people obviously took that in different ways when the album came out as well. But yeah, I think for someone like me listening to that album many years later to when it came out, I think a lot of that meaning still resonated. I think that it's a very timeless album. Like, you could release that album tomorrow and people wouldn't bat an eyelid in terms of the style of it and the production on it. Like, I think it sounds so modern still, even now.
Yeah, amazing. It's funny because like the whole sort of class and privilege thing didn't really affect my enjoyment of it at the time at all. I didn't really know. I'm a working class guy. I didn't really know any different. I just thought that's a person playing guitar music. It's only as like you get a bit older and you realise, oh, their life experience is very different to mine. All right, and so when did you first watch this band live, Ned?
2010.
2010.
When I was
Tell me
very, very
everything
young.
about this.
I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
So my memories of it are very hazy, as you can imagine. But I remember being at Latitude Festival. I remember being probably much more interested in a wooden sword that I'd somehow acquired at some point at the festival, and using that on my brother, most likely. But that is that
bigger or younger?
Younger by 2 years, so he was even younger than me at that time. But yeah, I remember being at this festival. I remember I'd been to. I presume this was my first time at Latitude because my parents had taken me quite a few years when I was younger. I remember seeing Tom Jones. I can't remember whether that was the same year or not. He did like a surprise set where he flew in with a helicopter.
That's pretty class.
But that is, you know, if you're Tom Jones, though, you can get away with that, can't you?
Do what you want.
But yeah, I know. I remember seeing Vampire Weekend, and I think I probably didn't take much of the actual performance in at the time.
You had a sword to play with. You were 4.
Exactly. But I think when I then rediscovered this album, I think there was a nostalgia and there was a familiarity to it that is only apparent if I'd heard this before. I was like, I know I've heard this before. I don't know where, I don't know when. But it most
in the back of your
likely,
brain.
most likely dates back to that weekend, I think, probably in 2010. Yeah.
Amazing. How important has the imagery and the fashion around this band been to you, Ned?
That's interesting because I don't think the fashion has been that important to me, you know. I think it's an album that stylistically I've always loved. I've always I've not been afraid of that sort of fashion style. Like, so I grew up outside Cambridge. I haven't come from a lot of wealth. I haven't come from a particularly wealthy family, but
Comparatively to the rest of
Cambridge.
Cambridge.
Comparatively to the rest of Cambridge, I was very poor.
Sure,
but
sure.
Comparably to the rest of the world is obviously a very privileged position to be in. And I'm very aware of that. And that's sort of always been something that I've been quite aware of, I think. Yeah, I think I owned a few polo shirts when I was younger. I think I had a few sweater vests. I had that sort of stuff. That it definitely probably made me feel like that could still be cool as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm wearing trousers that are rolled up at the bottom, which is probably something that they would have worn as well. But yeah, I think it definitely just sort of gave a voice to people that looked like that. I think people that sort of dressed like that weren't necessarily then always seen as nerdy or geeky after that. I think it was a thing that could be cool as well.
Yeah. Shout out to that. That's good.
Yeah.
I like it. How would you sell this album to someone that's never heard it before, Ned?
I think the only way you can sell this album is say, right, go anywhere in the world, listen to their music there, and then come back, listen to indie music, and then this is the perfect album for you. I think if you go and listen to a lot of their influences, or you don't even need to be fair, but I think to be able to understand this album as like an amazing album, like the best album, I think to sell it to that true capacity, I think you need to like listen to everything and go, oh, they've actually just done everything right. They've just done everything right. Like their music is just flawless. Like what they were trying to do, I think they just did perfectly. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Like, how would you sell this album?
Are you sick and tired of the pigeon detectives?
That's a good way of saying
it.
You can tell you work in sales. No, I don't.
There you go. No, but it was so just different to what was happening in 2007, 2008. It was like a cultural reset. If you were so in the world of indie, which, surprise, surprise, this motherfucker was. It was like a bit of a cultural reset of what guitar music could be and sound like. It's funny. I remember like the first time I saw them, there was a club night at Astoria 2. RIP, one of the best venues in London, just next to Tottenham Court Road. It got knocked down to build a train station.
So disappointing.
Isn't it? And there's a club night there. It used to be called Frog, and then it rebranded to I think it's called Push. So I think it was rebranded to Push by this point. And it was their second ever London gig. And I was there.
Nice.
I was at the front row, and I knew 4 of their songs, but the album hadn't come out yet. And went there with loads of my mates. You're going to fucking love this. This band are amazing. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Guess what, Ned? They all fucking hated it. They all hated it. Then about 2 weeks later, A-Punk blew up. And everyone's gone, oh, Bill, actually, I think I was wrong on that song is fucking really... So it's nice to be right, isn't it?
It very much is, yeah. And I think as well, like, having that track on like on the In-Betweeners and like pop culture sort of phenomenons like that definitely helped us. Helped
to find new audience.
Definitely. Yeah. It's probably why people sort of my age when we were discovering this band
that was the
then
avenue
enjoyed
for
it.
Right?
Yeah. It's partly definitely why, I think.
So on that note, what's the best bit of this album, Ned?
The best bit of this album?
What's the best bit? That must be the best song.
Do you know what?
Bit.
Do you know what? I'll tell you. So recently I made a playlist. Okay, I know someone who told me that they were doing this as well, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. And they said that I should do it. They have a playlist where they add a song every day. And it's a song just like that you're listening to that day or something that means something to you that day. And yesterday, obviously I knew we were going to be doing this, so I was having to listen to the album again. And I picked Walcott as my song of the day yesterday. And there's that bit in Walcott, like near the end, where they're just going crazy. Like you've got the pianos going, do you know this is insane? Yeah, that bit. That for me, that is just like the pinnacle of the whole album. I think that is the bit. Like I can't listen to that and not be like happy and not feel like energized. I think it's a very energizing album, I have to say. It's
a lovely answer, but it's wrong.
Is it wrong?
The correct answer, the best bit of the album is
Go on.
Hey on A-Punk. It doesn't get any better than that. It doesn't get better than that.
No, fair enough.
Shout out to Walcott, but no. That's the best bit.
I can't argue with that really.
Yeah, sorry.
A-Punk is a classic.
It's that good a bit that when they play A-Punk live, everyone says, hey, on a bit where they don't even say it. That's how good that hook is.
That's how you know you're successful.
That's how good it is. All right, and what's the worst bit of the album?
It's really hard to pick a worst bit of an album that perfect, I think. But I would say The Kids Don't Stand a Chance, the last song on the album, I think it just doesn't do it for me as much as maybe some of the others. I think
I really like
it's you like it. I think really like it. I just think it's not. I wouldn't have picked that as the album closer. You know, that wouldn't have been the song that I would have picked. But I'm sure they had their reasons.
What
for it
makes
at
the better
time.
album closer then?
I think
Walcott probably is right, actually.
Yeah, I like a big cathartic. I like a big sort of euphoric moment at the end of an album.
I guess isn't Walcott like the second to last song, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then it's almost like a guess what, guys? We're slowly back.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a great song. I love the song still.
Sure.
Like it's a no skips album for me.
It's a no skips
I can
album.
listen to the whole thing and be happy the whole way through.
Yeah,
and
I
not
think that's
even
fair.
think about skipping a song.
I think that's fair. What emotions do you feel when you put this album on there? Are you an emotional guy?
I'll tell you, I am an emotional guy.
Yeah? You got some feelings?
I've got some feelings.
Name some feelings.
Nostalgia is the big one, I think.
Yes.
I think this album is very, very nostalgic. Like when I hear this album, I think of my youth, I think of my parents, I think of my siblings, I think of my family. Like
amazing.
I can picture my childhood house. Like these are the images that I see when I hear this album.
Amazing.
But yeah, I think hope. I think this album is a very hopeful album, you know. Like anytime I hear it, I just feel like I feel spurred on to do things, you know. I feel like whether that's make my own music or work with the Islington Radio a lot or whatever. But yeah, I feel like it makes me want to do things.
That's a really good answer.
Do you know what? I feel like I say that it makes me want to do things, but I feel like I want to do things and I listen to the album because I know it's going to make me feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like I will pick music to listen to based on how I'm already feeling rather than the other way around.
Yeah,
I think
right.
Some people might.
You need validation.
Yeah, I want someone to tell me what I'm already thinking. I want to be right. So yeah, I listen to the album if I'm feeling like I want to do something. If I want a bit of motivation, that's what I listen to.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned nostalgia, and it's funny because I think after the second album, Contra, which class album, by the way,
unbelievable album as well. Yeah.
I did sort of stop listening to Vampire Weekend. I didn't listen to that Modern Vampires until much later, and there's another one as well. I think I was quite late on to.
Yeah, they've got Father of the Bride.
Father of the Bride again. That one I was. Yeah, I probably wasn't listening to that one, but I remember it must have been during lockdown. I hadn't listened to Vampire Weekend for I don't know 8 years. I don't know if I knows. And that phrase of like it stopped me in my tracks.
yeah.
But it really did. I've been sat at home and I'd literally just disappeared, and I was transported back to my mate Georgie's room, just fucking listening to Cod Kwassa Kwassa. It was like really, really transportative and nostalgic, and yeah, that's a band that can do that.
It very much is. I think the guitar parts on
I was going to get to this. Yeah,
the guitar on every song I could almost pluck from my memory. Like it is crisp as it is.
It's so funny you say that.
So memorable and so recognisable.
Yeah, because I definitely have that, and like I was in bands and stuff when I was younger, and like. This made me rethink how to play guitar. Those kind of riffs weren't things I was doing at all before.
Yeah.
And I can do it. I've not played them in years. Right now I can play Cod Kwassa Kwassa badly, but I know where my fingers need to be. Again, this is an album that pushed me forward musically in that way as well.
Yeah.
So thanks, Ezra.
Yeah. Ezra and Rostam, the unreal duo, I think. I think it's quite sad to say this, but I think Vampire Weekend probably did go quite downhill when Rostam left the band.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
I think Father of the Bride was like a bigger album. It's more ambitious. I didn't like it as much though.
No, it's a lot slower, isn't it? It's a lot more sort of quite more orchestral, I think. There's a lot more orchestral elements. It's a lot slower. It's less euphoric, which is the elements that I like off the first album, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. How do you spot a Vampire Weekend fan out in the wild? What are the telltale signs?
I reckon look for the most horrible checked shirt you can find. Like imagine what your dad would wear like 10 years ago. And then like
our dads are very different ages, Ned.
Fair enough. Okay. Well my dad would probably wear 10 years ago. Sorry, Dad. And probably reading a book. I'd say sat reading a
performative
book
male.
somewhere. Yeah, I think so. See, I wouldn't put myself in the category of a traditional Vampire Weekend fan. I don't think I am necessarily. But the thing is, I couldn't tell you what a Vampire Weekend fan looked like, you know, because again, it's a band that were almost before my time.
Yeah. No, but it's funny. I was thinking this though, because I remember like their early gigs.
Yeah.
It was just full of the same people that had been to watch Baby Shambles the week before, or been to watch again that band again.
It's the indie kids back then, isn't it? I feel like they were just lapping everything up.
It was just the indie kids.
They?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say artwork. They've got a really, really strong sort of imagery, I think.
They do.
Always, haven't they?
I love the album cover. It generally is one of my favourite album covers. Like whether we were talking about this album or not, I would say this because I just love it. Like I don't know what it is, but if I see that colour anywhere in a square, I just know it's that album cover. It's like one of those things that I think I've just been brought up probably seeing it so much and being around it so much that album cover with the chandelier and the top of the people's heads and stuff. It's like when I was younger, I would always recognise that as the album, and I probably didn't actually even acknowledge what was in the photo. I mean, there's not much in the photo. You've got the chandelier and the people or whatever. But then I think again, then as I got older and started to discover the band again, I think then that picture, it looks like they're at a party or something, and it was like, okay, this is now something that I can relate to a little bit more. You've got this album that's really fun. It doesn't sound like what people are partying to my age, but I want to party to this, and the people in the album cover are partying to this, so you can imagine. So yeah, it's always been very interesting to me.
What would be the perfect setting to listen to this album in, Ned Newman? Where are we? Who are we with? What are we doing?
I think it's an album to listen to while travelling a lot of the time.
You reckon?
I think it's a driving album. You know,
okay.
I think,
Who's in the car?
In a car with your mates. I think you've got a loud convertible if possible. Like sun. I'd say probably like 7-8 p.m. The sun's going down in summer. It has to be in summer. It's Vampire Weekend.
It's a summer album.
It's a summer album.
Yeah,
it has to be in summer.
I'll give you that.
But I think it's a summer evening album. You know, I think it's a summer evening. I think driving around with your mates in the countryside somewhere, or even in the city. Who knows? But yeah, I think it's a transportive album. You know, I feel like it's sort of, you can listen to it anywhere and it takes you to where you want it to take you. But I think that for me, the best place to listen to it is actually like moving. I feel like you've got the wind in your hair a bit, you know, like that sort of feeling I think goes really nicely with the album.
Have you ever cried listening to this album, Ned?
I haven't. I don't think it's an album that people would cry to very often, you know. I mean, if anyone's listening to this that has cried to this album, then fair enough. I'd love to know why, but
I know what you mean.
I can't imagine anyone crying to this album. I mean, maybe cries of joy or cries of euphoria, but I can't say I've had that either, you know.
Yeah, some songs and some bands definitely write songs that are made to make people cry.
Yeah.
That ain't this.
No, of course not. They're trying to do the opposite.
They're trying to do the opposite.
Yeah, they are.
Trying to put a bit of fucking joy, guys.
Exactly. Someone had to.
Does music make you cry?
Music can make me cry. Yeah, I think not as much as movies, maybe. Or
you're a movie crier.
Well, I never used to be.
Okay.
I never used to be a big crier at all. I don't know. I think I just grew up a little bit. I think I now
got in tune with your emotions.
Yeah, I think I can now watch a movie and be like, oh, this is quite profound, quite heartwarming, quite makes me a little bit sad, maybe. But it's still not a regular thing, I'd say. I'm not a massive crier still, but I'm becoming more in touch with that, I think, as I get older.
Let's see how that progresses. Long shows aren't... yeah, all right. Is there anything about the album we've not covered yet, Ned? Anything you'd like to share? Any memories, feelings, emotions, moments?
Do you know what? Every time that I start this album, every time that I press play on the first track...
Yeah. You know you're in for the full thing.
You know you're in for the full thing, but also I feel like I love that first track so much because it just sounds like Ezra Koenig is basically seeing how far he can test the audience, I think, with Mansard Roof.
What do you mean by that?
I think he's saying, right, how much of this are you going to Google? Now I've got this whole album. Now I'm gonna show off my my Ivy League education, you know, and I'm gonna use these funny words. I'm gonna talk about Mansard Roofs. I'm gonna talk about Cape Cod. I'm gonna do all this. I'm gonna talk about Oxford commas. Are you paying attention? That's what that first song sounds like to me. I think when I'm hearing Mansard Roof, it just gets my attention, you know, because it sounds like they're trying to get your attention. It sounds like they're trying to go, how closely are you listening? Like, what are you actually taking from this album? Because at face value, which is how a lot of people listen to this album, like A-Punk, like the classics,
you haven't got to overthink that one, have you?
You don't have to overthink it, and a lot of their music you don't have to overthink unless you want to. And I feel
there's
like
layers.
There is layers. And I think that first song, Mansard Roof, sort of really sets that up. I think, it really sets the tone.
I think I speak for a lot of people when they say that they assumed the lyric to Oxford Comma was, "Why would you lie about how much coke you had?" That's a good line.
It is.
That is a really good line.
It's probably quite a relatable line.
It's quite a relatable line. Like in my mind, when I first heard that, some guys at a party. Yeah. Like, oh man, I've done so much blow.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking high on coke right now. Like that's a relatable lyric.
Yeah.
Nope. Misheard that completely. How much code you had, which is not something I knew much about in 2008.
No, it's an interesting song, Oxford Comma, because obviously at face value he's saying who gives a fuck about punctuation, who gives a fuck about that. But I think I think really what he's saying is who gives a fuck about the rules? Who gives a fuck about where we've come from? Who gives a fuck about where you've come from? Like, it's just a song, isn't it?
That's a beautiful message, actually.
Yeah.
What a beautiful message, Ned. Thank you very much.
worries
I think
at all.
that's a beautiful note to move things on to. So Ned Newman of Islington Radio. We're not done yet. We've got a little trick up our sleeve. We are going to look at Pitchfork's top 20 albums of 2008. Where do you think Vampire Weekend charted in Pitchfork's top 20 albums of 2008?
Do you know what? I think it is in the list.
Is it?
I think it is.
Do you think Vampire Weekend are a Pitchfork band?
See, this is what I mean. I don't know what Pitchfork was spouting in 2008. I don't know who they were platforming.
But I think it's very safe to assume it was Vampire Weekend.
I think that is safe to assume. I would put it top 5.
You put it top 5?
I would put it top 5.
Shall we find out as
Let's
we go
find
on
out.
there?
Let's do it.
Should probably add, so obviously I do this for most episodes of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't believe how many times we've had a 2008 album. I'm
really?
running out of album end of year lists. It's been really tricky. I'm fucked after this. No more 2008 albums.
No one else is allowed a 2008 album.
All right, let's see how your 2008 music knowledge is. A few of these you'll be familiar with. A few of them I don't think you will, and that's okay. At 20, we have Fuck Buttons with Street Horizon.
I mean, I can't say I know that.
Yeah, fair play guys or not those guys.
Yeah. Well, fair play. I don't know these guys.
You can say not those guys.
Not those guys. You know,
You're so mean. You're so mean. At 19, The Walkman, You and Me.
I know The Walkman.
What a band.
I like it. I'll say fair play those guys. Yeah, fair play.
At 18, not one I'm familiar with, The May She with Hell Yeah.
I mean, hell yeah.
It's
fair
good
play,
title.
guys. Yeah.
Honestly,
I don't know them,
that's
but
made
hell
me
yeah.
interested.
Yeah,
it's also
hell yeah.
spelt in the sort of taking the syllables away kind of way. H-double-L. That's something I want to listen to. I want to listen to that.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
At 20, we had Fuck Buttons. At 17, we've got Fucked Up with The Chemistry of Common Life.
I mean, again, it's not an album that I know. I think when we get into the top 10, hopefully I'll know some of these.
Well, Fucked Up can fuck off. At 16, we've got Vivian Girls with the self-titled Vivian Girls, who I think you'd be into, actually.
Yeah?
They're pretty class.
This is an artist I need to check out then.
I think you'd like them. So, yeah, fair play Vivian
Fair
Girls.
play to them,
At 15, I'd be interested to know what you make of this one. Crystal Castles with Crystal Castles.
Oh, I'm slightly familiar with Crystal Castles, you know. I've heard a few tracks, I think, but... I mean, I'll say fair play.
You say fair play?
I'll say fair play.
He's saying fair play.
I'll say fair play.
They're mad.
Yeah.
They are
mad. They are mad, yeah.
At 14, Air France with No Way Down. Not one I'm familiar with either, I'm afraid. Don't worry, not on you. Fuck those guys. At 13, Erykah Badu, New America Part 1, brackets, Fourth World War, close brackets.
Fair play.
Yeah, fair play to Erykah. At 12, Lindstorm, Where You Go, I Go Too. Sort of Scandinavian electro dancey stuff. It's okay.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's all right.
Well, you're not selling it to me here,
it's
so
okay.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no.
I respect the opinion.
I'm going to say no.
At 11, let's see where the respect lies here. Lil Wayne with the Carter 3. Are you a Lil Wayne guy?
I'm not a Lil Wayne fan. You know what?
You a hip hop guy at all?
I used to be a bit more. I mean, my dad's really into his old American hip hop, but I've never. I mean, I could, if you played me a song, I'd know it, but I couldn't sit here and name 20 artists.
I'm not a Lil Wayne guy, really.
No, I mean,
like hip hop.
Do you know what? I used to listen to a little bit of Lil Wayne when I was sort of in my rap era of listening to music when I was in school. But yeah, I mean, fair play. He's a bit of a controversial guy, isn't he? So I can't.
He's a character.
He is a character.
We'll give him that.
That's safe to say.
He's a character. Yeah. My goodness.
Fair play. I mean,
fair play. The world needs more characters.
Yeah. I can't argue with that.
9, we've got Hercules and the Love Affair with the self-titled Hercules and the Love Affair. Mean anything to you?
No.
No, it's all right. It's sort of dancey, disco-y kind of gay stuff. It's kind of cool.
Okay.
It's all right. Yeah. At 8. Oh, well, you know this one. M83 with Saturdays.
That's cool.
Youth. He's lit up. He's absolutely lit up. Look at that smile.
That's a cool album. Yeah. That's a fair play, guys.
That's a fair play, guys.
Fair play, guys. Definitely.
At 7, Ezra, are you listening? Vampire Weekend with the self-titled Vampire Weekend.
Wow,
I'm surprised by that.
That's lower than I thought.
That deserves to be higher.
I mean, I'm trying to remember what came out in 2008 now. I'm thinking Favourite Worst Nightmares probably on there. That came out in 2008, did it? Oh, was that year before?
Yeah,
was that 2007?
2007.
Ooh. I don't know what came out in 2008. Then I'm going to be surprised. I think.
Let's go through a few
Let's
more.
hear it.
So at number 6, we got Vampire. I'll try again.
We've
We've
had
done that.
that one.
At 6, we've got TV on the Radio with Dear Science. Now that actually topped a lot of 2008 end of year lists.
Oh really?
It's a bit of a slog, that album.
Is it?
It's a bit of a slog. Like New York indie stuff that's like my bread and butter.
Yeah.
I'm not a big TV on the Radio guy, Ned.
Okay. Interesting.
Fair play-ish guys, but no, they're not better than Vampire Weekend. Fuck
No,
those guys.
no,
Not those guys. At
Now I'm gonna be basing everyone off if they're better than Vampire Weekend.
That's the game, baby.
Yeah.
At 5, Deer Hunter with Microcastle. Again, they're a band I probably should know more about. I don't know much about Deer Hunter.
I can't.
I saw them at
I know the
Primavera.
name, but
Yeah, I saw them at Primavera a couple of years ago, and they had a massive audience. And it
Yeah.
was like, it wasn't shit. It was all right.
well, that's a good start.
There's a bit of a gap in my indie knowledge there. So, yeah, not those guys. We've got to say
Nah,
it.
not those guys.
Not those guys.
Definitely not better than Vampire Weekend.
Fuck those guys. At 4, Cut Copy in Ghost Colours. Mean much to you?
No.
Yeah, again, it's another little gap in my
I mean,
knowledge.
I
I know
was
the
two.
name.
I was 2 at the time, to be fair. And I feel like a lot of these artists maybe haven't had the
Survived,
longevity that they would need for
that
me to be that
Vampire
aware.
Weekend have had at number 7 on the charts.
Yeah.
At number 3, No Age with Nouns. Didn't know that one either.
Again,
no, don't worry, not your fault.
No.
At 2, Portishead.
I know this one.
He knows
That's a very good album.
He knows Portishead.
I'm a big Portishead fan.
Oh,
so I do. Yeah, I mean, Glory Box is one of my favourite songs of all time. I know that's
Yeah.
the basic answer for Portishead, but it's just an unbelievable song, isn't it?
Unbelievable
really?
song.
Yeah,
But
unbelievable
are they
band.
better than Vampire Weekend?
Oh, that's difficult, you know.
Isn't it difficult?
That is difficult.
Isn't it?
That is, but no.
Wasn't
You
that
know
hard?
what? I'm gonna say no. Like
No,
as much as
that's
I
not.
love Portishead, I think Vampire Weekend have
Are
just
a
they've just
better
done it
band.
more. They've just done it more.
They've
haven't
done
they?
more. They've done
Yeah.
better. Which means, just as I get the low battery sign on my laptop, so we've got to blaze
Perfect
through
time
this.
for
At
it.
number 1, Fleet Foxes with Fleet Foxes. Fair play guys or not
Again,
those guys.
fair play, guys. I think
Fair
Fleet
play,
Foxes, they're
guys.
cool. I'm an indie guy, and they're about
An
as
indie
indie
band.
as you get, aren't they? So yeah, I can't argue with that.
Class. Well, look, Ned Newman of Islington Radio. This has been a right laugh.
It's been a pleasure.
And I'm very excited about what we'll be creating together
So
on
am
the
I.
digital
So am
airwaves
I.
in time to come.
exciting
This is
times.
your chance to plug and promote anything that's got coming up in your world, Ned. The
Wow.
floor is yours.
Islington Radio. We've got a lot of gigs coming up. We've got 4 amazing gigs that I'm very excited for. We've got a band called Shale from Wales that are headlining. We've got a band called Hungry from Manchester who are headlining. We've got a band called Bullpen from Dublin who are headlining. And we've got an artist called Sean Trowford, who is from Cambridge, like me,
There you
which is
go.
how I know him. But he's
You've also got
London-based
something
now.
really cool lined up for the football, right?
We do, yeah. I'm not sure how much of this I can say right now.
Say
but
it, fuck it.
You know what? This is coming out on Thursday, isn't it?
Oh,
so on Friday, so tomorrow, let's give an exclusive announcement. We have got Islington Radio on the Ball, which is an event that I'm very proud to bring to the dance hall venue for the first night of the World Cup, 17th of June. England are playing Croatia, and we have got the Rolling People headlining an event that I'm very excited for. The full lineup will be announced soon, so yeah, stay tuned for that.
Class. I've been William Hann. He's been Ned Newman. They were Vampire Weekend. And this has been this album.
Thank you very much.
On Islington Radio.
Yeah.
Come on.
Thank you very much, William.
Nice one, Ned.